So in this video, we will discuss about rate limiting or it is also known as throttling. So what is rate limiting throttling? So rate limiting is the process of limiting the number of API requests. You know that gateway proxies the request from a client to your backend services. There is a limit for your backend system to handle the request. Gateway implements rate limiting policies to control the limit, and developers can use rate limiting as a spigot that can be adjusted based on requirements. So what is the need of rate limiting? In physical context, rate limiting should be implemented keeping in mind the physical limitation of the system, such as concurrent connection, data transfer, bandwidth, etc. And in safety context, it should be implemented to avoid overflowing of the request, which might result in service failure. And in a business context, a developer can monetize their APIs by applying rate limiting. You might want to pay if you need to make more requests. So what are the types of rate limiting? There are three main types of rate limiting. User specific limiting. Based on a user's API key, the limit is applied above where all requests are denied. Server rate limiting. Some servers such as login server might have heavy traffic, while other might not have such high usage. The rate applied based on a server is a good way of using an available resource. Regional rate limit. Applying rate for a particular limit based on region. The call from a particular region during midnight would be far less than a regular call limit. This type of limiting can alert the system in case of unwanted activities. Throttling policies. Some throttling policies are by IP address or HTTP header request. So let's discuss about IP address. You can make some IPs to consume more of your API resource using IP throttling. And HTTP request header, you can apply limits based on HTTP request header. And if you want to set a different throttling limit for JSON, you can create a policy that checks the header for application/JSON and applies speed limit. The other type of throttling policies are JWT claims. JWT has the information about the API. Based on the values in JWT claim, you can apply speed limit. Query parameters. When doing search operations, filtering based on query parameters can be applied to HTTP GET request. For example, if you have a search API with a category such as a query parameter, you can have different speed for different categories. Throttle for better throughput. The type of rate limiting varies from company to company. So let us take an example of how Amazon handles rate limiting. So Amazon uses token bucket algorithm to handle throttling, where it sets the steady state rate by default 10,000 RPS and burst limit maximum request a gateway can fulfill by default 5,000. Exceeding the limit will cause the gateway to return a 429 HTTP response code, which means too many request errors to the client. This results in better throughput. This can be set to individual APIs and even to specific clients. If a caller evenly places 10,000 requests in 1 second, for example, 10 requests every millisecond, without dropping all requests, will be processed by gateway. And if the caller places 10,000 requests in the first millisecond, gateway handles 5,000 requests and throttles the remaining in 1 second period. So this is all about throttling. So thanks for watching, guys. And in the next video, we'll talk about API versioning.